From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Thanks for joining us on OpenLine. I'm Aundrea Cline-Thomas, filling in for Ben Hall. Today we are going to talk about Metro schools. I know it's been the summertime, but the district has been very busy. Let me catch you up on what's been going on, especially as it pertains to leadership. All summer, the school board has been trying to find a new director of schools. They extended the offer to Dr. Mike Looney in Williamson County, but he declined. But they had an interim director of schools. That is Chris Henson, who is here with us today to really talk about a lot of different things. One, about how he's going to lead the district as it is in limbo, talk about TCAP scores, and just, you know, how we're going to move forward here in Metro schools. So I'd like to thank you for joining us today. I've seen a lot of you
That's right.
lately. You've been really busy. But first of all, let's introduce you to the public. You're not new to Metro schools. You've been around for over 10 years.
Correct, I have. I've actually been with Metro schools for 13 years and two other school districts prior to that here in the mid-state. And so I'm not new to the district, and I very much enjoy working in Metro Nashville schools.
So Chris Henson is the Chief Financial Officer of Metro schools, and he's been tapped to be the interim director before. Tell us about that time.
Correct. Back in 2008, I served as the interim director of schools for a full year, from January 2008 to January 2009, before Dr. Register was hired. And initially it was not intended to be as long of a tenure as interim director of schools, but that's the way it worked out, and I'm happy to help the board in any way I can.
And from what I understand, and going back, it's kind of a similar time too, because it was after Garcia?
It was after Dr. Garcia.
Yeah, after Dr.
Correct.
Garcia, right before Dr. Register. So it was still very much of a, what are we going to do? And in terms of the sentiment kind of around the district, is that right?
That's right. It has some similarities, even though, of course, there are some differences as well. But there were some similarities.
Yeah. So here we go again. Yeah.
That's right.
Here you are again, because you're kind of the behind-the-scenes guy. You know, I always see you at the budget presentations,
Right.
and now, what does it take for you to kind of shift that focus to now be kind of in front of all of it and kind of being the face of the district?
Sure. And, you know, different roles require, you know, they have different requirements. And so a chief financial officer should be more behind the scenes. And that's the way I function as the CFO for the school district. But of course, the leader, the director of schools, should be out front. And so I changed my role in relation to the change in my responsibilities, and I'm comfortable with that. And as we said, I've done it before and did it for a year. So I opened a school year back in 2009, and so it's not something that's new to me, and it's not something I'm uncomfortable with. It's just a different requirement as far as what the job is.
And so we want to hear from you all. And what questions do you have for him? That's why we have him on today, so you can talk to him directly. Let me give you that number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Let's just talk about the district now. A lot is going on. That kind of seems like an understatement. It seems like there's just a lot of movement, a lot of changes that have been in place, that the idea was that the new director would kind of be picking up and creating their own path forward. How do you now, as an interim, kind of, I guess, go forward?
Right, and what I've been telling, when I've been out visiting schools and when I've talked to others, what I've been saying is, you know, the sky's not falling. I've been in this role before. We had the same leadership team in place, except for Dr. Register, who retired. We have the same leadership in place. We have a strategic plan. We have made some significant progress with our student scores and academic gains, and we want to continue that progress, and we have a plan forward to do that, continue the forward momentum that we have. And so that's really the message that I've been giving is, you know, there are some things that could be distractions, but what we need to do is keep our head down, concentrate on students, and if you focus on students, we're going to be okay. We've got 86,000 plus students that are going to be coming to our doors a week from yesterday, next Wednesday on August the 5th, whether we're ready or not. So we better be ready and hit the ground running on day one with instruction, because we don't have any time to lose.
How difficult is it, though, because it's been so publicized, the director search, and the vitriol really that came about from that has been very public. So how do you then switch gears to say, okay, let's focus on the children when a lot of the focus has been on adults?
Well, I try to lead that by example. I stay out of the fray. The board search is a Board of Education matter, and it's whatever timeline they set, it's their responsibility, and it'll take as long as it takes. And we've got a job to do. And as I said, if we concentrate and focus on students, we're going to be okay. And we don't have any time to lose. There's a definite sense of urgency in the district that we need to continue to accelerate and make gains. And as I've said, keep our foot on the gas pedal and keep moving forward, because we've got a plan. We just need to implement the plan, and we know where some of our weak spots are, and we have a plan to address those. So I feel confident and feel optimistic going into the new school year, and have high expectations.
Is it difficult for you not having a distinct timeline to say, okay, I know I'm here for this long, or do you expect to kind of, so you can know I need to make drastic changes, or I just need to kind of keep the ship moving forward, True,
and I do have the mindset of keep the ship moving forward. I think right now the school district needs stability, needs a steady hand, and I think I can provide that. So not knowing how long the interim director will last, I'm not going to make any big changes. Of course, if there are changes that are required, I will make them. I made them back in 2008 when they were necessary, but I'm not looking to make any wholesale, new radical type changes at this point. I think our district, I think we're by and large in good shape and have a really good plan moving forward. And so I don't want to do anything that would be disruptive to that.
And today you were checking in with schools, going around from schools to schools, starting with priority schools. We caught up with him earlier today, and we want to just show you the story that ran tonight at 6 o'clock of us, kind of a day in the life.
That's right.
A little bit. So if you can go ahead and play that now.
First thing I want to do is to tell you thank you for the work that you do.
Chris Henson's new role as interim director of Metro Schools may be temporary, but don't expect him to be a lame duck.
We've got a lot of distractions going on in the school district, and we need to put those to the side. And what we need to do, and I'm sure this is what you're doing, is, keep our heads down and concentrate on students.
Henson is reinforcing the sense of urgency, first starting with visits to priority schools. We caught up with him at Jerry Baxter Middle School.
I'm not looking to make any, major changes or significant changes. I think one thing the district needs right now is some stability, and so I can provide that, but also not sitting still.
Henson answers teachers' questions and says he's even open for criticism.
At what point will...
It's a balance he's trying to strike to reinforce a sense of calm in the midst of what's been described as noise. That comes from the disappointment of the director search, while continuing to set high expectations.
It's exciting, too, just to have someone from the board to say, we're here, we hear you, we support you in your work, and don't worry about, again, the noise.
That helps set the tone for the upcoming year, especially at a school that just last year was being considered for state takeover.
I did receive a letter from Candace McQueen on yesterday saying that for the 2015-2016 school year, we are not being considered for takeover at all because of the gains that we...
Immense growth means the school is no longer eligible for state intervention. It's that momentum Henson wants to capitalize on before handing the district off to whoever fills the position permanently.
And I think after looking at that, well, first let's ask you, what's the benefit of going into schools, especially now in this time in Metro schools?
I think it's a huge benefit. I think there's benefit for me being able to actually interact directly with teachers and assistant principals and principals to understand what their concerns are, because I'm serious when I tell them that they don't exist for us. It's the other way around. We're here for you. We're here to support you, and so I want to know what they need, and the best way to do that is to hear from them directly. I think it also sends a message to them that we're not just over in the headquarters building. We're out in the schools where the true work takes place, where the magic happens. And so it's been very beneficial for me, particularly going out and visiting our priority schools where the teachers have come back to work. They've been back to work in many cases since July 13th. And I made the joke today that, who says teachers don't work in the summer? Because they've been hard at it. And even those that aren't getting paid to come in early, they come in anyway. They volunteer their time because they're serious about improving student learning, and I want them to know how much they're appreciated, and I also want to hear back from them.
That's a good place to take a break. We want to hear your questions for Chris Henson. We're going to talk about kind of what your priorities are coming up. So give us a call, 615-737-PLUS. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.